Smash Ultimate Summit 6, the peak of Smash Ultimate. We had players from all around the world representing their countries. There were nothing but dogs in this bracket, and we saw the craziest upsets. Today, we recap the final bracket in a segment I like to call the fastest 4 minutes. Here we go. We start off with our losers matches for the final bracket. You win, you move past. You lose, you get last. And predictably, each matchup featured a vote-in player. It looks like the Summit voting system wasn't pay to win, it was more like pay to get in. While HBox and Nate Toro stood no chance in their sets facing 0-3 defeats, Aaron almost managed to steal Game 5 against Pluto. All hope might have seen lost until Void managed to make it rain on Spargo to shut down the allegations of being washed. Next up is winner's quarters to secure a spot in top 8 winner side. Big D started off with a breakthrough performance as he proved he had nerves of steel during this entire set. He couldn't have done it without the help of Nana as she dodged a few bullets herself and set up the game-winning ledge trump. Kurama vs Mutace was a close Game 5 set, and it was a battle of who could find 0 to deaths faster. Kurama and Mutace both found ways to rack up damage fast, but in the end it was a last hit situation where Kurama was able to find the up smash to take the set. Proto Banham vs Riddles was a textbook display of how you can win with any character and how you can win against any character, as Proto was able to defeat Riddles 3-1 using both of his characters against both of Riddles' characters. Tweek vs ApolloKage started off with Tweek dominating games 1 and 2, making ApolloKage rethink everything, but he was able to bounce back and steal games 3 and 4, forcing a game 5 where he ultimately lost while Tweek advanced to winner semis. In loser's bracket, MkLeo faced Acola, and he decided to think about his long-term career in Smash instead of focusing on the short-term goals. MkLeo lost 3-0 and found himself smiling with the rest of us as Steve continues to push closer to a ban. Next up is Mutace vs Gluto, and I'm gonna be real here, I don't know what Wario eats, if it's beans, onions, garlic, I don't know what it is, but Mutace was winning every single game, and the Waft clutched it out all 3 times for Gluto. He won a Game 5 set, absolute thriller, the Waft carried. Gluto advancing into top 8 while Mutace finishes at 9th. Void vs ApolloKage, and Void managed to steal the first game, but it was ApolloKage that reminded Void that he had to snake up his boot as he stole the next 3 games to advance into top 8. The final top 8 spot couldn't have been scripted any better as it was a rematch of Collision. Again, these players traded 0 to deaths like they did previously, but this time it was SkyJ taking the win and advancing to top 8. We head to top 8 in the final Smash Summit. The stakes could not be higher, and there's some of the best players in the world in this bracket. And no better way to start off than with Proto versus Tweek. And throughout this set, we saw multiple characters show up, but it was Tweek proven to be able to balance multiple characters, making some people wonder, where's that PT at? For the first time in this tournament, Big D actually had a winning matchup versus Kurama's Mario, and he took full advantage of it as he won 3-1 to punch his ticket into winners finals. In losers, it was Acola vs Gluto, and the set was over as soon as the fist bump started. Acola with a dominating 3-0 to send Gluto out at 7th place. SkyJ vs ApolloKage featured 2 heavyweight characters going for crazy clips, and it seemed like the set could go back and forth, but it was SkyJ able to take the set 3-1 to advance, sending ApolloKage out at 7th. In losers quarter, it was 2 of the best players in Japan with Proto Banham versus Acola, which started off as a battle of DLC but eventually led to a character switch for Proto. Despite the switch, it was Acola taking the set, with Steve making Proto Banham consider changing his tag to Proto Banhim. SkyJ and Kurama had a rematch in losers quarters, and unfortunately for SkyJ, his March Madness run came to an end as Kurama dunked all over him to advance into losers semis, winning 3-0. Losers semis was Kurama versus Acola, who was kind enough to build him multiple L's throughout this set, starting off by boxing Mario in and ending the set by saying, "This is an L for you, Mario, you are going to take the L here," and Acola is going to advance to losers finals. Winners Finals was a rematch between Tweek and Big D, and it was essentially Sephiroth versus Popo because Tweek did such a great job of separating the Ice Climbers, and this allowed him to win the set 3-1 to advance to Grand Finals. Losers Finals was a chance for Acola to get his run back on Big D, and it honestly looked like I was watching a Minecraft speedrun. He just downloaded this matchup, and you could not believe that Big D won this earlier. Big D did go for some big reads, but unfortunately it wasn't enough, and he did fall to Acola 3-0, finishing at 3rd. Grand Finals featured Tweek vs Acola, and this was a back and forth set to start it off, everybody taking 1 game at a time, going to a Game 5 in a very close set, but Acola was able to reset the bracket and force a second Grand Finals set. It came down to a close Game 4 between Tweek and Acola, but unfortunately for Tweek, he was not able to pull it out, and it was Acola taking the final Smash Ultimate Summit.
Has to find this last hurrah somehow, but only going to find a diamond back here, the appropriate pop-up.
Thank you all for all your support over the years. Not like to me personally, but not to BTS, but just everything you guys have done for Smash. You know, you've made it all special.
I think the emotions speak volumes, man, and just a round of applause for LD, the whole staff. So